So in this video, I'm actually going to pull up the tri-annual report of all the central banks throughout the entire world, and I'm going to show you which pairs are the most active, and then I'm going to show you which times they are the most active with hard statistics to back that up. So first, I want to break down each of the sessions. Now, some people will say there's 3 sessions, some people will say there's 4. I like to explain it as 3. We have the Asian session, the London session, and the New York session. To break that down a little bit more specifically, I combine the Sydney and Tokyo sessions to make the Asian session. Now that runs from about 5 p.m. Eastern Time to about 1 or 2 a.m. Eastern Time. As I go through these next 3 slides, this one and the next 2, you're going to see the times have a little bit of a variable to them, and you're going to wonder why. I will answer that question for you in a second. Here, the London session, you can see, opens up around 2 or 3 a.m. Eastern Time, New York time, and it closes around 11 a.m. or 12 o'clock noon Eastern Time. And then in the third session here would be the New York session. That's from 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. New York time to about 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, the reason that there was a little bit of variability in the start and end time of each session is because that depending on the broker and that depending on the time of year, these sessions change. As you can see in this chart here, summer hours and winter hours, using daylight savings, they set these on specific dates, will change. And even within the broker, depending on which broker you're using, that will also change when they open and close, specifically when they open on the start of the week and when they close. Some brokers close an hour earlier than others. So you really should look at your broker's timing to figure out exactly when they're breaking off sessions. But for I think holistic purposes for everyone watching this, the way that you can approach it is the way that I teach it here in the course, the way that I'm sharing with you in front of your screen. If we round these numbers through the 3 sessions to the extremes, meaning give them the benefit of the doubt, then you can really start to see how the entire Forex day is broken up into 3 separate sessions. You have the Asian session from about 5 p.m. to roughly 3 a.m. It'll start to slow down around 1, maybe 2 o'clock, depending on the time of year, as they change over into the London session. And that's going to run from about as early as 2 a.m. to as late as 12 noon, New York time. These are all Eastern Standard Times. But these are the times that I would recommend you use for the sessions. And then, of course, you have the New York session from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So breaking it up this way allows you to see the entire day, like I said, in 3 separate chunks. And that's really important because each one of these trading sessions have different volume and different volatility. The most volatile time, and this is when I trade, is that London to New York open. Very often we'll find great trade setups that fit our system early London, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. New York time. But we'll also find trades 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and even 9 o'clock in the morning, New York time, all that fit the same system, the system that I teach in our course, all that are taking advantage of this volatility and this volume that are overlapping during the London and New York sessions. Typically, you will see, and sometimes this is not the case because there's never 100% certainty in all of this because it's trading, but more often than not, you'll see the Asian session be the slower of the 3. And that's because for some reason, I'm not going to try to say exactly why, because I'm never the guy clicking the button on the other side of the screen, right? But for some reason, we tend to see it very range bound during those first 8 hours from 5 p.m. New York time to about 1 or 2 a.m. New York time. That period is very much a consolidation period for majority of the currency pairs. And I think you can point to the fact that the dollar is 88% of currency transactions. The dollar is closed during the JPY, the AUD, the NZD session, during that Asian session. We're all asleep here in New York. So we have to wait for that market to wake back up. We have to wait for the pairs to get active because what do we need? Volume and volatility. So when you ask me, Austin, what's the best time for me to trade? My answer is always first, you have to pick a set time and stick to it every single day. For me,